I have the sense of being on my own. I have the sense of it being quiet. Even running with a group of a couple of hundred runners, you can get separated by as much as a kilometer more, and you're literally on your own, and there's something appealing, there's something energizing about that being on your own out in the wilderness. I'm Wright, I'm a trail runner, and I work for MEC in Toronto. I grew up in a small town in central southern Ontario, and we used to run in the bush and the trails all the time. They weren't called trails back then, they were just little routes that a deer might go on. I got into trail running about 5 years back when my traditional kind of running of road running started not being much fun anymore. I was putting a lot of kilometers on the road, and just, I think, basically beating up my body, and it was responding by me having to, I was getting a lot of different nagging injuries. One of the most difficult things that I've had to change is my style of running. Previously I was a heel-toe runner, and that supports itself well on the road, okay, because you've got a lot of friction. But out on the trails, when you land on your heel, basically what you're doing is you're landing with a very small piece of your shoe on the trail initially, and then you roll, of course, and the rest of the action occurs. But I've had to learn to run with a 4-foot plant. But it actually was pretty easy, because as kids, when we're out in the bush, that's exactly what we do. We run with a 4-foot plant, so that you have more of your shoe in contact. So that was the most difficult thing that I had to learn. And once I learned how to do that, I suddenly became much more comfortable on the trails and had much more control. I live in an urban environment, and certainly there are some trails in the city, but I do most of my training on the road. Trail running has sort of re-energized my interest in road running, but what I do now is that I just don't simply log kilometers. I'll do different kinds of interval training. Interval training is great for trail running. Wherever I can find some trails, even if it's on the side of the road on the dirt, that's a different kind of run than running on asphalt. I do more hill climbing, especially reverse hill running. 5K of trail running is an awful lot like 10 of road. Just have fewer expectations. Even when I do some training on the roads, I treat road running as if it was trails. Jumping on the curbs, okay? Jumping on concrete flower beds, just making it a whole lot more fun. For me, it's proper trail running shoes that give good torsional rigidity, so that when I run off camber or on inclines of hills, I've got some support there. And as funny as it sounds, hydration bottle. Because the minute you get dehydrated, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You're not going to be, you start to lose it. You start to, you don't have that same energy levels.